Okay, so before I get into this video, I just want to say please do not pass judgment or comment before actually watching the video. So as some of you guys may know, I was born in Nigeria and I came here to America for surgical purposes because when I was about 9 years old, I got burned with hot oil. And then I started attending school here in America. It was definitely a roller coaster ride of bullying and thoughts of suicide. But I've overcame that part in my life, but there's still a part of me that still have this darkness lingering around, and I really wanted to talk about it today on this video. I'm the type of person to sugarcoat situations because I don't want people walking around and feeling bad for me or passing judgment about me and what either has happened to me or what I have done. So I'm usually not so direct about what I talk about, but I am going to be as real as I can and as direct as the story is, or my life basically is or was or has been. I am a victim of sexual assault and multiple rape at a very young age, about the age of 7, by not one, but multiple men. Yes, men. And it happened on different occasions, multiple times with the same man. I cannot really recall how many times it has happened, but I still have the image of location and the faces of these people, even though this happened years ago, maybe about 10 years or over 10 years ago, but it's still, I can still remember everything vividly. I never told my parents about any of this because I was afraid about multiple things. I was afraid to get in trouble. I was afraid that my parents would either get angry and would either start a dispute with this man. And one of the biggest reasons why I was so scared to tell is because all of these people that took advantage of me at a very young age were Muslims. I am not putting Muslims in a box or saying, oh, these people are like this. That is not the reason why I mentioned this, but I don't know, I guess it's just kind of significant to be a part of this story because the multiple people that it happened with, it was with Muslims, and I was afraid to mention that to my family or my parents because I lived in Nigeria and I've seen riots before. I've seen people literally get burned alive. Going to school, when we see tires, burning tires on the road, we know something happened. My sister has been in the middle of a riot running for her life at a very young age. She was about 9 years old. And it has to do with the Muslim and Christians. So I can remember, you know, this man either telling me not to tell, or they would give me something if I don't tell. So I don't know, like, how can I be so stupid? Like, I guess I just kind of blame myself. I was just like, well, did I like it? Is that why I didn't tell? Did I enjoy receiving money and candy from these people? Is that why I didn't tell? I don't want anyone to make bad comments about my parents. I love them dearly and I know they don't mean any harm. They just probably didn't know best. But it's so important, like it's really important to show that affection. There's the time when I talked about me getting assaulted, the video I did, I believe it's still up. And I remember mentioning in that video saying that I don't want to repeat exactly what my mom said about the whole situation, but I remember coming back to her, and sort of told her what happened, and I remember my mom saying something that really disturbed me. She said that, yeah, he should have raped you, but you're lucky he didn't kill you. Um, and that really just pissed me off. I was just like, why would you say that, you know? And the friend that I was with at that moment, you guys have to watch that video to really understand what I'm talking about. The friend that I was with, when this guy sexually assaulted me, she told her mom. Her mom was the one that actually went all the way to the boy's house and reported him to his parents. And I feel like she took that one step, even though nothing could really be done. Living in Nigeria, nothing could really be done. But just seeing the fact that her mother, even though my friend wasn't the one being sexually assaulted, but because she told her mother actually went forward to report the child to his parents, just kind of showed the difference of how my parents are, the reason why I haven't gotten the guts to go to my parents and tell them about everything that has been going on with me for years back in Nigeria, and I still don't have that. So it's very important. I'm gonna say this, it's so important to talk to your kids. Let them know that you love them. Let them feel comfortable enough to want to come to you and tell you about anything and everything without you getting so angry, even though you are. But you can be calm at a certain moment and just talk to them and make them understand things. I think it's very important. Moving forward to why I titled this video Becoming High School Slut, I'm going to get to that point now. And the reason why I talked about this whole rape is because me becoming the high school slut has to do with me getting raped at such a young age. Something so special was taken away from me without my permission. So basically, I started high school. I started elementary school actually here in America, and then going into middle school, that's when I was really bullied. So I was definitely so insecure about myself, my looks, everything. I felt like nobody loved me, and I was looking for somebody to love me, to care for me, to have a boyfriend, of that sort. So in high school, that's when you meet a whole new people, kids acting a little too mature than they really are. And peer pressure comes in, even though people would not necessarily tell you, hey, do this. But when you are in the conversation, you just kind of feel the need to, hey, I want to do this to either impress somebody or to get somebody to like you. And girls would basically talk about how they got in a guy, or they have sex with this guy, they lost their virginity at this age and all of that. And it would get to my point where they ask me, well, Shalom, have you ever had sex? Or when did you lose your virginity? And that would put me in it put me in a very bad mood and confusion, because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I should say, yes, I'm not a virgin, or if I should say, I've been raped. Or if they asked me, well, how old were you when you lost your virginity? How would it feel? Or I'm asking you guys, how would it feel to tell somebody, yeah, I lost my virginity at 7 years old? Or to just mention to random people that, yes, you have been raped. That was so confusing to me. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want it to feel that way anymore. I didn't want to remember that the only way how I lost my virginity was at 7 years old and was all rape. It wasn't something that was concerned. So I didn't know how to answer that question. Literally, how does a person answer such question? There was this guy that I liked. I was talking to he went to my school. Very handsome, and well, I thought. And I really liked him, but when I talked to him, he wanted to do certain stuff. I didn't want to have sex with him. I don't know, I just didn't have the urge of having sex. But because of the topic I have with this girl, or the memory of what has happened to me back in Nigeria comes in my mind. And you know, it makes me really angry. I'm just like, I don't want to think about this. I don't want this to be the, you know, if I remember sex, this is how I remember it, you know, being raped and being taken advantage of. This is not how I want to ever remember it. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go through with this. I'm gonna have sex with this guy, and I would never, ever, ever in my life think about my past or what has happened in my past. And I thought if I had sex with this guy, that is just gonna like cover the bandage. And it's not like, it doesn't work like that. You can't just take a bandage and put on a wound. You actually have to heal. And I wasn't healing anytime soon. I didn't feel healed. So I thought, hey, if I have sex with this guy, if I give permission to this guy and have sex with him, that is gonna change everything, and I wouldn't feel so weirded out. I wouldn't feel grossed out him. I wanted to make myself believe that he's my first, because he's the first person I gave permission to. So obviously, you know, one day I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I didn't even have like the sensation of like having sex or anything. I wasn't horny or anything like that. But I just wanted to stop the thought of everything that happened. So I messaged him and I was like, yo, let's do it. And he was like, what? Like, you know, he was very shocked because I've been saying no, 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 no. And all of a sudden, one day I just get up and I was like, let's have sex. So he was very surprised. And we were not together. Of course, at the same time, I wanted him to like me even more, to ask me out so I can have a boyfriend, whatever. So I went ahead and I had sex with this dude. I'm not exactly sure if it was his first time. He did claim that it's not, and people talk and people say that it was his first time too. But yeah, he asked me, is it my first time? I was like, yes, it's my first time having sex. Yeah, so that happened with me and him, and I thought everything was like good, you know. I went home the next day to school, and you know, I just wasn't thinking about it at all. So this dude has a nickname. His nickname was 40. I don't know, because I guess his name start with an F. So his friends will call him 40. And he was basically, the next day I am walking, because they usually would stay right across from my locker. That is where they hang out. Like when the bell rings, they just all come, him and his friends will all come to this hallway, in the hallway besides the lockers, and my locker is literally across from them. So I have to walk past him every single day, and I see him every single day. So the day after this happened between me and him, I'm walking to go to my locker. So this is where they basically hang, and my locker is over here. So I'm walking, and that has to be the most slowest walk to my locker and blurriest walk to my locker ever. Because as soon as I came and they saw me, they started chanting his name. And this is something that happened just between us, and we said we're gonna keep it between us. But his name started being chanted. It was literally like 40 in the hallway, and just looking at me laughing. I was so ashamed. Like, everyone knew. I don't know if everyone actually knew in the school, but a lot of people knew that this happened. And I couldn't even open my locker. My hand was shaking. I ended up putting my stuff in my friend's locker because I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, I thought I was doing something to help me, you know, with my past, and now I just thought of something else. Like, something just decided to start up, and now I'm a freaking slut. And so everyone started looking at me as a slut, being called a slut, you know. You hear people whispering, or if I say anything in class, it's like, shut the fuck up, slut, you know. I mean, my life. I need to write a freaking book. I think I need to do that. It's like some people that I thought were my friends stopped being friends with me because they obviously heard what happened, and you know, people calling me names and all of that. So they didn't have anything to do with me. They didn't want to be associated with me. So yeah, I was just back alone. I did have few friends that stuck by me, but people were acting so shady, and then I started getting approached by a lot of guys. And of course, you know, if you're the slut, everyone just wants to get their turn basically. So guys started being like friendly and shit to me, and I realized that, you know, soon I realized that people actually don't like me. They just want to get their turn, because they wouldn't really talk to me during school or when they're around other people. It's usually after school or on Facebook, you know, all of that. It's just like you know, and then when they talk to me, they just kind of go straight forward to the point, you know, yo, when you're gonna let me smashed. And I remember crying, skipping school, because every single day just makes me so scared to go back to school, because I'm gonna be called names. I'm good. Yeah, so, and then at the same time, I didn't know what to do. I was so scared. I was just like, I'm so over school. I was just like, I hate my life. I don't want to be here anymore. Again, I thought of suicide. I am so glad I am away from that right now, that I feel like, excuse me, no matter what happens now in my life, the thought of suicide would not come up, because that is just selfish. I know it's so much to take sometimes. Like when we go through certain things, we just feel like ending our life is the best thing, but we are really hurting other people. And it's so hard, because it's like, why does this happen to me? You know, that's why I felt like my whole life was a curse. Like I thought I was just completely cursed. So basically now you guys know my whole life. I didn't really want to talk about this, because I feel like there are going to be some ignorant people in the comment section, you know, saying certain stuff, or people feel like they need to tell me how to live my life now. I've learned a lot of lesson in life, and I feel like I am becoming, but all of this thing that happened in my life is unfortunate, but that have shaped me to be a better person, and it's shaping me to just do better, and also to connect with other people. No, I don't want to live my life being so cautious about people in general, but with this certain things that have happened to me multiple times, honestly, I trust no one, and it's so sad, even family. But yeah, just be careful out there. And yeah, so this is the end of this video, and I just want to say, remember to always be your own kind of beautiful. Bye.